Africa is a giant. Africans are giants.
Africa's untapped renewable energy potential is more than 50 times the world's cumulative demand.
It has to come to an end. Africa cannot permanently be a subject of superpowers.
How well do you know Africa? Africa is a continent of contrasts, where ancient traditions meet modern innovations, where natural wonders abound and cultural diversity enriches. Africa is a place where you can experience the thrill of a safari, the charm of a village, the beauty of a sunset, and the warmth of a smile. Africa is a destination that will captivate your senses, inspire your imagination, and touch your soul. Africa is a continent of potential, where billion people aspire to a better future, where abundant resources offer opportunities for development, where innovation and entrepreneurship are driving growth and transformation.
Nearly 600 million Africans lack access to electricity, while another 150 million have highly unreliable access, and a whopping 900 million Africans have no access to clean cooking energy. Just imagine the paradox that we are in the middle of plenty while living in scarcity.
Africa is a continent that is set to be a superpower.
We have the resources, we have the talent, and our people have brain as much as anyone else.
In this video documentary, we dive deep into the potentials of Africa ruling the world.
We want one Africa with one currency, with one military, with one judiciary, with one president of the United Republic of Africa. We need Africa to be bigger in order to fight all of these people.
Watch to the end and be part of the army that will push Africa to what it should be.
This whole idea of having Africa and Africans being sympathized with, being supported by everyone else, because it's like we are in a place where we are behind everybody else in terms of development of all sorts, including in sports. Yet, we have more that should put us in front of everyone else. We have everything.
Africa's economy is growing fast. As Africa becomes richer and more developed, it will play a bigger role in the world's affair, and it is likely to be seen as a superpower. In total, the economy of Africa grew by 3.7% in the year 2019. This is huge compared to Europe's 1.9% for the same year. Africa's rapid economic growth is also projected to continue. Looking again at other global superpowers, China, America, Russia, and the European Union, the size of their economies play a big part in their superpower status, and so, as Africa grows economically, so will its worldwide influence. Not only is Africa's economy growing as a continent, but Africa also has some of the countries with the fastest growing economies in the world, like Rwanda, Ethiopia, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire. All saw economic growth above 7% in 2019. Remember, the US economy grew by only 2.2% in the same year.
The newest data suggests the U.S. economy is slowing down. Consumers are still spending and companies are still hiring and investing, but not at the same pace as last year.
If African countries continue with high economic growth, it will propel the continent's entire economy and ensure Africa becomes a global superpower. Its economy has grown in terms of trade and investment, where Africa has increased in trade and investment with other regions, especially China, India, and the European Union. These partnerships have boosted the continent's exports, imports, and foreign direct investment. Africa has also improved its infrastructure and technology, such as roads, railways, ports, airports, energy, and telecommunications. These investments have enhanced the continent's connectivity, productivity, and competitiveness. In terms of demographic and human capital, Africa has a large and a young population, which is a potential source of labor force, consumption, and innovation. The continent has also invested in its human capital, such as education, health, and skill development. Furthermore, in governance and institutions, Africa has made progress, such as democracy, rule of law, accountability, and transparency.
The greatness of a nation lies in its fidelity to its constitution and a strict adherence to the rule of law, and above all, the fear of God.
These reforms have improved the continent's stability, security, and business environment.
I would not entirely agree we should keep everybody at home. We live in a global village. There are opportunities in America, and we have young people who can explore those opportunities. Why not? Or in Europe, or in other places. That's fine with me. But they must not run away because we have failed to provide opportunity at home.
Many current and previous superpowers have gained global dominance by innovating ahead of their competitors.
One, we don't want your money, we want your brain. Once your mind says, this child is bright, you have earned a seat in a university, it doesn't matter whether you have money or not. We want a child from a sheikh to go to the best of the best university because he's got the best brain, and that brain must be protected.
Over the coming decades, we can expect Africa to begin to lead the world in some applied sciences. Currently, the innovations coming out of Africa are concentrated in some of more developed countries. However, if these technological advancements are spread across the continent, then Africa could as well become an innovation leader and a global superpower. Among the innovations thriving in Africa are fintech sector, where technology is used to provide financial services such as mobile money, digital banking, and peer-to-peer lending. Fintech is helping to increase financial inclusion, reduce transaction costs, and create new business opportunities. A great example is M-Pesa in Kenya. Also, agri-tech in Africa uses technology to improve agricultural productivity, efficiency, and sustainability. Agri-tech includes solutions such as precision farming, drones, sensors, irrigation systems, and e-commerce platforms. Health tech is also a sector that uses technology to improve health outcomes, access, and affordability. Health tech includes solutions such as telemedicine, mobile health, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and biotechnology. Many Africans have as well ventured into edtech, where technology is used to enhance education quality, delivery, and accessibility. EdTech includes solutions such as online learning platforms, digital content, gamification, and adaptive learning.
They don't have borders in Europe. But when it comes to us, they say, no, you must have borders. Why? The division of Africa is what makes them thrive. They thrive on the division of the African continent. Can you imagine the minerals of DRC combined with the minerals of South Africa and with a new currency based on the minerals? What we can do to the dollar if we become a United States of Africa with our minerals alone, we can collapse the dollar.
The continent's untapped solar, wind, and geothermal potential is rated as super abundant in most African countries, meaning the potential is over 1,000 times the current demand. So we can confidently say that African solutions can actually provide global solutions.
Many of the key materials needed for modern economies can be found in massive quantities across Africa. This makes the continent hugely important and gives it the potential to be a global superpower. Africa's abundant resources can help it reach superpower status in two main ways. Firstly, it can trade key resources that other nations need, such as coal, copper, natural gas, diamonds, iron, and cobalt. All of these are fundamental to the industrial economics around the world, and Africa generates huge amounts of wealth by trading its natural resources. The other way Africa can benefit from its natural resources to become a superpower is by utilizing these resources itself. Many African nations are beginning to develop and use the minerals and materials they have. This will propel the countries to be richer and more economically important. If this can happen across the continent, Africa will surely become a superpower. We can have a glimpse of Africa's natural resources. It has a large quantity of minerals such as diamonds, gold, iron, cobalt, uranium, copper, bauxite, silver, and manganese. These materials are used for various purposes, such as jewelry, electronics, energy, and construction. Africa has magnificent reserves of oil and gas, especially in countries like Nigeria, Angola, Algeria, Libya, and Egypt. These resources are also for fuel, power generation, and industrial production. Africa has vast areas of arable land and water resources, such as rivers and lakes. These resources are used for agriculture, irrigation, fishing, and hydropower. Africa has diverse and abundant forests and wildlife, such as tropical timber, cocoa beans, fruits, and animals. These resources are used for food, medicine, tourism, and conservation.
A continent of 1.2 billion people and a GDP of close to $2 trillion finds itself disadvantaged by the current configuration of the UN Security Council, a configuration that was established 80 years ago. It is therefore time to reform the UN Security Council and change it.
Another reason Africa is likely to become a superpower in the coming years is the continent's demographic. The continent of Africa has a total population of 1.3 billion people. That is 17% of the people in the world. Obviously, this is combining the population of all 54 African states. However, the enormous population of Africa gives it a huge potential to dominate the world and become a superpower. Population size is an important factor for an emerging superpower. Having many millions of people gives nations a large workforce and the potential for significant economic growth, as well as political, cultural, and military strength that has come from being one of the largest population centers in the world. If you look at other superpowers, America, Russia, and China, as well as upcoming and potential superpowers such as India and Brazil, they all have big populations. Africa fits into this group if its population is taken as a whole. and this is why the continent could be the major global superpower. Africa has a young and growing population, key factors that help countries and regions gain global dominance and influence. The median age across Africa is only 19 years old. This means there are millions of people training and entering the workforce each year. Young people also tend to focus on innovation and challenge conventional political and economical orthodoxies. This will help the countries of Africa develop and help to push it towards the superpower status. Africa's population is also growing. On average, the population of the continent increases by 2.5% a year. Some African countries such as Somalia, Central African Republic, and Mali have the fastest growing population in the world. The combination of young and growing population demographics makes the ascendancy of Africa to be a global superpower almost inevitable. As long as African countries can create inclusive economies and functional political systems, their demographics will help the continent as a whole to become a superpower. Geographically, Africa is enormous. Its sheer size will help propel it into superpower status alone. Africa is the second largest continent, with a total landmass of 30.3 million square kilometers. If we again look at other superpowers, another thing we can see is that they are all geographically large. China is 9.6 million square kilometers. The USA is 9.8 million square kilometers, and Russia is 17.3 million square kilometers. The European Union is comparatively tiny at only 4.4 million square kilometers. Africa is much bigger than any of these at twice or 3 times the size. Size is beneficial to superpowers as it allows them to support large population, diverse economies, and abundant resources. Almost all nations or regions that have become superpowers cover large geographical areas, and as Africa is bigger than almost any, it is likely to follow the trend and become a globally dominant continent. The final reason Africa could be the next superpower is its military strength. When you think of superpowers such as America, Russia, or China, the size of their armies definitely comes to mind. Superpowers are able to project their military strength around the world, and this is one of the ways they retain global dominance. Currently, the armed forces in Africa are the national militaries of the nations within it. There is no Central Africa Army. However, the continent has several significant military forces, including the Egyptian Army, Nigerian Army, Southern African Army, and the Kenyan Defense Force. African armies are also generally well equipped, which could further help them project their power. Most of the armed forces in Africa are used to address local conflicts and issues. However, as Africa's power grows, we are likely to see the armed forces of African countries play a wider role in the world. This could include as part of international alliances or as an increased role in the UN peacekeeping. As Africa begins to use its military strength around the world, it will begin to be considered as a superpower. Hey, you've come to the end of the video. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and also subscribe. See you soon.